Hi everybody, welcome back to Tips for You. Today I want to talk to you about hair loss. How does it happen? What's normal? And what's not normal? It's definitely something that we all feel very emotional about and we can worry about, both male and female. And first I want to talk to you about hair and its phases and what's a normal phase for hair and how it works. Hair is made of protein, a protein called keratin. It's the same protein that is found in your fingernails as well as the outermost skin layer of your body. Now, hair has three phases. The first phase is called the active growth phase or the anagen phase. And it's during this phase that hair experiences most of its growth. It can last from 2 to 6 years. Now, depending upon a person's growth phase, whether you have 3 or 4 years, that's how long your hair will grow. Most hair, a single strand of hair, will not grow beyond approximately 40 inches or 1 meter. That's about as long as hair can grow before it reaches the end of its active phase, and then it goes into a phase called the catagen phase. And in the catagen phase, what happens is the little hair follicle that's under your scalp cuts itself off from the hair shaft that's coming out of the follicle. And the hair follicle will shrink and kind of get smaller, and it goes into what's called the resting phase. Now, the catagen phase lasts about 2 to 3 weeks for this transition to happen. And what's happening is it's going from the growth phase to what's called the resting phase or the telogen phase. The telogen phase can last approximately 2 to 3 months, where your hair sits in its resting phase and it's ready to be shed. Now, there are two ways that it'll be shed. Either it'll be shed because, you're washing your hair and you're moving your scalp around, and so the hair will come out, or you'll brush your hair and it'll fall out, or the new hair will come up through the little follicle and push that old dead hair out, and the new hair will come through. If you've ever pulled a hair out of your head with a hairbrush or washing your hair and you notice like a little white bulb at the end, well, that's just that's just where it's separated from the scalp. It's like a little ball, a little root ball kind of thing. It's actually, like a sebum that comes off, and you can tell that that was the end of the growth phase for that hair. Now, many times there are things that happen in our lives that will alter those phases and cause hair to go into the resting phase and therefore stop growing and then will fall out. And then you'll see either more hair falling out than usual, or your hair just won't be, growing like it was growing. And there are several things that can cause that. And you'll have to ask yourself, if you notice that your hair is falling out more than usual, what's normal is approximately 100 to 150 hairs a day. Now, we have about 100,000 to 150,000 hairs on our head. So losing 100 to 150 hairs a day is not a big deal. Now, if you notice more than that, then you want to ask yourself, okay, what's going on here? What's changed in my life? What's my diet look like? Do I have enough iron and protein? Because very often there are certain things like crash diets, not eating properly, that can cause your hair to go into the resting phase and to just stop growing and fall out. And crash diets are really one of the main reasons, say, that young teenagers and young girls will write to me and say, my hair is falling out more than usual. And I always ask them, well, are you losing more than 100 to 150 hairs a day? And if so, examine what's going on. Other things can be stress. Stress can cause a severe stress, like someone dies, or you have a breakup that's very traumatic, or divorce or something like that. That can often cause your hair to fall out. And sometimes the hair fall won't occur for approximately 3 months later, because the hair goes into the resting phase and then it falls out 3 months down the road. So you may not see the results of what you just went through immediately. It may take some time. Another thing is a high fever. Birth control pills, either taking them, starting to take them, or stopping taking them. These are hormonal balances. And when you change the hormonal balance, you very often will affect your hair, because your hair, the growth phase of your hair, the resting phase, it's all controlled by hormones called androgens. And if that balance is upset in any way or changed in any way, well, then that can cause hair fall. The most dramatic time that I noticed hair fall in my life was after I had my children. Every time you get pregnant, your hair grows very lush and thick. It grows, well, what happens is it slows down that resting phase where your hair is going to fall out, and you have more of an active growth phase. So you're really growing hair. But then when the baby's born, well, then all of a sudden you start to lose that hair. Your hair goes back to the normal growth pattern again of growth and catagen, which is the middle phase, the transitional phase, and then the resting phase. It goes back to the normal phases, and then you'll see that it just will go right into the resting phase again, and you'll lose the hair. And this is normal, and you'll just go back to the normal way that you were producing your hair before that. So pregnancy always be a time of wonderful hair growth for you. And I noticed that after both my pregnancies. So I was aware of it. So, I didn't worry about it. But I did see more hair than usual when I washed my hair around the drain. I use a little hair snare so it would collect all the hair. And I recommend that you do that if you want to see how much hair you're losing. Put a little hair snare over the drain. It catches the hair. You can actually count the hair. And you have to also go to your hairbrush that you used just for that day. Make sure you start with a clean hairbrush, and you can count the hairs. And then you'll see, are you losing more? Do you see little bald spots on your head? Do you see overall thinning of your hair? Now let's talk about some other reasons that your hair can fall out other than, say, genetic reasons.